Thank you for having me here. It's a joy being here. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. I'm Neel. Call me Neel. My full name is Neelmani Singh. I'm the Group Head of Learning for Aditya Birla Group, and I also look after the Global Center for Leadership Learning of Aditya Birla Group. It's been joy to work in area of people and people capability building, learning, leadership development, large-scale culture change. Thank you for asking that question. You see, when we say innovation and adaptability, and this has been a age-old, time immemorial question. It's not a question of today that, you know, they say generation change. But when Babar was the father, he must be thinking Humayun is a new generation, and Humayun must be thinking Akbar is the new generation, and then Shah Jahan and all. Newness has always been there, and hence innovation. When Sher Suri made a Grand Trunk Road, was an innovation. Now, what does it take to be innovative? And let's talk a little bit of Aditya Birla Group, where we have huge organization doing some very interesting work. So, innovation, first of all, needs investment from self and from organization into thinking, pausing, and maybe experimenting and going wrong, failure. So long ago, one of my top leader used to say, I remember in ICICI Bank, when I used to lead ICICI Bank learning there, used to say, please make mistake. There's no problem if you make mistake, but don't repeat the mistake. Only fools make the same mistake again and again and again. And that's a big tip on innovation. You can't innovate without making mistakes and by being afraid of making mistakes. My manager is so supportive that he confronts me and says, Neel, you've been very careful. You've been very conservative. And that is so assuring. And that is so liberating, rather, I should say. You need to liberate. So in Aditya Birla Group, we are into many innovative products, many innovative practices in HR, in business, from metals, from financial services. You'll see our products. So the whole idea about innovation and ability to bring that in workforce, we have worked from the space of future skills. We have done our own research and read external research and found future skills. The key ones being macroeconomy, digital, mindfulness, growth mindset, ecosystem management, and so on. These are the areas where we are encouraging our employees to experiment and work on and build capability, and that brings innovation. Two types of challenges when you talk about skilling. One is logistic challenge and another is conceptual challenge. Now, which one is bigger or smaller is very difficult to say. The logistic challenge these days seems to be bigger, but thank God we are having digital. But the unfortunate aspect of digital learning is, which is so prevalent, so much content in digital learning space, and going by it, from almost zero cost, you can skill employee. So cost should not be a challenge. But we are observing, when I say we, I don't say Aditya Birla Group, I'm representing the community of learning. The learning community is observing that a level and above, which is senior leadership, don't like to go to digital learning. I don't know why. I know why. Now, this face-to-face learning logistically is very costly. So, biggest challenge of skilling employee is the logistics aspects of and taking people to the digital space and learning digitally, then learning face-to-face only. Now, there's a huge loss in learning versus learning face-to-face to learning digitally. we need to do culture-based studies also on that. Is it, about the Indian culture, or is it prevalent worldwide? Second is conceptually. Conceptually, the models, the great author, researcher, Kurt Lewin says that theory is the biggest practice. When 200 practices come together, a theory becomes. So your models have to be very practical. We make very unpractical models and then we say, oh, these are theoretical. And the challenge around skilling employee is, please bring very practical things. When I was long ago in ICICI Bank and doing customer service program, we actually went to branches and see how the desks should be shaped. And we talked about if a customer service executive is polite, but is the backend system, process and operation supporting the person? Otherwise, she will keep on being polite to the customer and customer will be still angry. Similarly, when a new joinee is joining Aditya Birla Capital or any other business of Aditya Birla Group, how do you bring? Nobody joins the organization to fail. Everybody joins the organization to do something great. How do you help the person come to speed? So those are the things which organization needs to crack. Most important aspect, if you are learning or HR professional and want to work in the skilling area, first crack the logistics of skilling and crack the conceptual aspects of skilling. Go and look deep. What are my logistics bottlenecks or friction area, noise area? Those will be your opportunity area and crack them. Go and look at your practice and conceptual space. Are they practical? Are they implementable? Will it fly in the field? That is very important. So, see, the traditional Kirkpatrick metrics all of us use. It used to be 4 level, now the 5 level, the reaction level. To share with you, at the Global Center for Leadership Learning of Aditya Birla Group, the reaction level is 4.67 is the benchmark out of 5. Now, 4.67 onwards is what we say is a hygiene quality program. That's the reaction level at which we want to work. Now, but reaction level sometimes can become happy sheet. Then you have to see if learning has happened. Is learning translating into behavior? Is behavior translating into performance? Is performance translating into return on investment? Now, this return on investment sometimes becomes very tricky. Because if a product or a practice or a property has done very well, has the marketing made it successful, or the strategy, or the financial budgeting, or the learning? And that's where, there are some spaces where things like, we did a negotiation skill program, and very clearly we saw people coming back and reporting so many crores we saved by your negotiation skill methods. So they're now, in talent development, I will say the panacea, the highest level of effectiveness is role change. Is your intervention creating role changes? Are people getting into different roles? I'm very carefully choosing word different role, not higher role, because this higher business is very difficult business. At the end of the day, organization is a pyramid. If after going through your programs, your people are sought after, horizontally also, people want them to come. They are asked for role changes and they also want to do role changes. That's the panacea. That's the biggest measure of talent development interventions. So we have at the Global Leadership Center various accelerated leadership program. Now, what is this accelerated leadership program? So we, at different job levels or different phases of career, we try to help our future talent with very specialized interventions. To name one is like Springboard. It's for women leadership. Now, women leaders, they need a different type of intervention. And because to create success, you are a woman leader. To create success, what type of mindset, intervention, and the whole skill set I need to bring in, that's a place where we work in. Another one is, if somebody is a department head in a factory, in a unit, if the whole factory unit is to be run, we had function heads who's just one down of the unit head. How do you make real function heads? We have accelerated leadership for that. So if somebody was going to become a function head in, say, 3 years, 4 years, we try to accelerate the person in 18 months or 12 months. Similarly, unit head, similarly, CEO acceleration of P&L, profit and loss leadership we do, CEO leadership. Now, this P&L leadership is the highest one. Now we are trying to do strategic leadership, which is at a higher level. Now, what I'm trying to say is, all these, the joy of success is that we see, as I said in the earlier, role changes. We see 97% role change over a period of time in these interventions. And these are recorded data. 97% role changes we are seeing in these. I know I should not take whole credit because of training role change happened. There are so many moving parts in the organization which causes role change. They are very good managers, they are very good leaders, they are very good ecosystem. There are so much of growth happening in the business, they are very good requirement. But there is a cent or two which talent development, people development, leadership development is also adding to. Thank you for asking. What are a few skills which are very relevant? Yeah. At the cost of being cliche, I will use the word digital. Anybody and everybody is talking digital. But let me give a perspective and context to it. I asked one of my friends that, can you help me understand digital transformation? Like many of us, 10 or 12 years ago, I used to not be able to differentiate between IT and digital. So this friend of mine, who's a CIO, very simply told me, he said, Neel, you know what? There's nothing like digital transformation. I said, come on. Then he said, there's only business transformation. And when you put technology in business transformation to make it happen 10x, that is digital transformation. So learn digital in context. Learn digital to create a transformation in your work or personal space. For example, giving you an example of personal space. My mother-in-law, some time ago, now she's about 80s, some time ago, when she must be in her mid-60s or late 60s, 12 years ago or something like that, we gifted her a mobile phone, a smartphone. She used to have the other normal phone. And then she said, Beta, what will I do with this phone? And we had a plan. So we put a good bhajan and a earphone in her ear and played that bhajan on the YouTube. And she was amazed. So I can hear this bhajan? I said, you can hear this bhajan in any time. I can hear it anytime? You can hear it anytime. And I can, and as many times. Oh, I can repeat it also? You can repeat it also. You can hear your favorite bhajan anytime, as many times, and repeat it also. And what we had a plan set up, immediately after that, we had a video WhatsApp call with my son, who is a grandchild, who is in US. And we connected with him, and we call him Robin at home. And she said, oh, Robin. And she's able to see Robin here, and she's talking to him. That is the day. And today it is, you guess right, she's the person who's forwarding the most. So there has to be agenda. There has to be a transformation agenda, a business transformation, a personal transformation, and build digital on top of it. By the way, let me not be discouraging. Digital is something like a sugar. You put anyway, it becomes sweet these days. So if you don't have agenda also, you get a chance to learn something. Please go and learn something digital. See, I represent a conglomerate of business. There are 21 companies of Aditya Birla Group, a few very big ones and few upcoming ones, new age ones. So there's a myriad of skill which is required, but few which will go nowhere, and not in shortage, I will say, which I will or we should focus on. Number one, to start with, is growth mindset. Number two is development culture. And these two go together. When we say development culture, coaching is at the pivot of it. And when you do all these things, and you know, the ecosystem management, the macroeconomy, the big picture, all those things are fine. But growth mindset, development culture, and put digital to it. These are the things I will like to focus a lot. I will not save a single penny to do more and more digital. And sometimes people will say, but why? And that's a very good question to answer. And I myself said, put an agenda, put a transformation, and put digital in it, it will become digital transformation. But for a minute, I'll not ask that question also, why? On topic like digital, growth mindset, and development culture. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.